Aloha, this is Neil in Hawaii, building a model railroad in 10 minutes a day. So today I wanted to spike and ballast down the rail and switch that we did yesterday. So in honor of my grandmother's favorite card game, Spite and Malice, I thought I'd call this Spike and Ballast. So I find that spiking down rail is therapeutic and it helps time go quickly when you don't realize how the time passes. So basically, I'm putting down a spike on either side of a rail on one tie about every 4 to 5 ties. So after I did this curved rail and got everything kind of set in place, I lined up the straight stock rail, and I found that it needed a little help, a little straight edge. So I grabbed a metal straight edge, and once I got that kind of set up where I thought it looked really good, I would just spike down one side of the rail, holding it against that straight edge. So after I did that, I came back later and removed the straight edge and spiked the other side. So that done, I felt it was a good opportunity to put down some ballast and let it set overnight, since that's the point of this video today, is spike and ballast. So spreading out some crushed granite. This is actually from my friend who visited Sonoma, and these are real rock finds. And in reality, the railroad I modeled would have used what they call more bony ballast. In other words, it didn't have a lot of fines, but this will be leading into the engine house, and I figured they would probably have a little bit more fines and a little more compacted around the engine house, so you could walk on it without, being too difficult. That's just a guess. I haven't been there personally, but so after spreading this out real nicely, getting it the way you want, the next thing to do is go find a soft bristle brush, and brush it off the ties and get it kind of where you like. Sometimes, some of the railroads actually had the ballast up and over the ties, and it's not uncommon to see that after they've ballasted, and they'll come back later if they have money and tamp it down. But a lot of times these small railroads didn't do that. They just filled up the ballast between the rails. Make sure you get all the rocks, the ballast out from, the frogs and the points. So after you're satisfied with that, I wet it down with like a solution of alcohol and water. This is isopropyl alcohol. I think I got some from work, since nowadays it seems like it's everywhere. So wet it liberally, make sure it's wetted through and through. And, it's a good opportunity to see if any ballast is creeping up on the ties, which it does. And so I go back with my brush and just real carefully kind of touch it up. Make sure those rocks aren't on the ties. So take your time. It doesn't take a lot of time. Actually, spiking this rail, setting the ballast, and gluing it all down probably took about 30 minutes, but I generally do things in about 10-minute increments. So you didn't see me stop to take a drink here and there. Well, once you've got it all the way you like it, or pretty much the way you like it, I use a mixture of 50% white glue and 50% water, and I happen to have it in this wood glue bottle, but it is actually Elmer's white glue, and it's very easy to lay down when it's 50-50, and that alcohol water mixture lets it soak right in really quickly. So like I said, I use it liberally. And I did find a few places where the ballast kind of crept up on the ties even after I did this. So after I let it set a little bit, I came back and wiped a few of those off with my brush. But, don't glue your points to the stock rails and just let it sit overnight. It will be hard as well, not as a rock. It's actually fairly flexible, but, some 10 minutes a day. Sort of amazing how much you can get done. Aloha, and we'll see you soon.